Right, abusuo mo bibia kwa ban fambra 2K ni some blossom e wo YouTube so say abusuo for yaba as usual ensem ahodo a ekoso e wo Ghana ase no ana de besuma hefo ene atifo nya na abusuo amno kase no ensem bi aba betodwa a ho hia se won so unya bi na wotie na ho de ekwo ne sent no anam de sa info wi e ba besomo na abusuo amempesem kasbetent kura de beko na kwa akwaje ensem ni na enchemu e de aba message so nya subscribe mfa mamia na subscribe ya e de amam na bibia so etimi aye kama midin e de kwam gentle.
So can that be, I don't know how to, something to fall back on? Because that's the defense that the minority leader is putting up, that go through the speaker. Well, Parliament is also on recess. So speaker is virtually maybe on recess. So reaching out to a member of Parliament will be much more difficult. Is that the only resort?
I think on the matter of reaching out to the speaker, yes, I think that's the established practice that they have. Even though we also have to caution the MPP because in the 8th Parliament, there were instances when the Speaker had to complain that, look, I established certain procedures just to protect all MPs. But, some people have tried to violate that and run to the court and try to get things done on days and in violation of some of the procedures that were established between him and the Chief Justice, if you remember this quite well. And that is why it's very important for all of them to work with the Speaker and make sure that whatever they agree, those practices and procedures are respected. Because, look, the Constitution says you can arrest an MP if he or she is not on his way from Parliament or doing parliamentary duties. So they have tried to establish a practice where you go through the Speaker, write to the Speaker, so that the Speaker would indicate his agreement and release the honorable member. That was the case last week with the two honorable members, I believe, who were interrogated on Monday within the precincts of Parliament. Now, that happened when Parliament was on recess. So the whole idea of recess really is neither here nor there, because even if the Speaker is not within within the country, the office exists. The office of the clerk is there, and if you remember, the letter that was issued last week was signed on behalf of the Speaker by the clerk to Parliament. So the matter of recess really, for me, is neither here nor there. In this era of technology, even if the Right Honourable Speaker is, in Australia, I think within minutes, he can be reached and he can be appraised of all the communication, particularly urgent ones like this. So the matter of recess, for me, I think is not tenable.
And at this point, and you have expressed disappointment in both sides. You feel they could have handled this matter better. What can they do? They have taken this matter out of the public domain, because many of us are confused about exactly what we are chasing and what the matter is about.
Yeah, where this matter has reached, perhaps it's too late to take it out of the public domain, because people are concerned. People want to know the truth. So, yes, maybe the way to go about it is, why wouldn't the Committee of Interior, Defense and Interior, sit with the intelligence group and then have a dialogue? Whatever information that the honorable member has, let him give it to them, and then maybe some kind of statement can be issued by the committee now, and just to put this matter to rest. If there is no nothing untoward. And if there is, let them put it out so that at least all of us will know. Because Ghanaians are asking questions. I even heard today the aviation experts are saying, there should be some publication of all the information and so on. The interest of the public has already been heightened. So whilst it might be too late to take this out of the public domain, and there is still some room for the committee to work very closely with the intelligence. And look, at the end of the day, it all comes down to dialogue and conversation. Even the Minister for the Interior is a member of Parliament. I think there are all kinds of avenues, if only truly there is an interest in getting to the bottom of this and not necessarily just dramatizing things and making one side look good, another side look bad, and so on.
But you agreed with those who said that the honourable member of parliament, even speaking for the minority, the approach was irresponsible.
Well, that one, I think I will leave the people to their judgment. But for me, all I would say is, if he had information and he had intelligence, he could have handled it differently. And get better results than maybe the way it has been handled.
Doc, thank you very much for speaking to us.
Thank you for having
attention to this whole matter of the allegations made by Reverend ÄɁFENYO at a press conference and where it has gotten to. So far, your general impressions?
First of all, my general impressions are, number one, I thought that the leaders of our parliament could have managed this issue, particularly if it borders on the general interest and welfare of our country. It will be of interest to all of them, that's both NDC and MPP, and they would manage the information flow and all the things that have been said in a way that we wouldn't have gotten to where we are now, where we are seeing visuals of a standoff between the security and one part of parliament. So that's my first impression. Second, I think is that, this is a ranking member of a parliamentary committee. And, when it comes to oversight, all over the world, the principal actors are members of the minority for obvious reasons, because you don't expect members of a government to be active in trying to expose their own government and so on. The issues have been raised. If there were indeed any kind of conversations that needed to be had with the security agencies and so on, so that they could be helped in carrying out the mandate that they have in terms of, trying to fish out these things and punish, sanction people who are involved. I was thinking the committee, through this honorable member, at least could have worked very closely with the intelligence architecture of our country, without necessarily dramatizing this matter in the media, so that at least information could have been passed, because this is very sensitive kind of issue, an issue that is also very time sensitive, because if you want to catch somebody with cocaine or drugs and so on, and then there's all these media kind of issues, you have given the group enough time to be able to hide whatever evidence that there could have been. So these are my two disappointments, if you like, in terms of how this matter has been handled.
On the second one, and I recall vividly after he made the suggestions and the president gave the directive that the security agencies should work with him, then he said he was going to use the committee to invite the security agencies to give some briefing on the issues involved. The chairman says the fact that you've gone public alone, this enables the committee from looking into this matter the way they typically would do, because what you should have done was come before the committee, put the information out, they invite the security agencies so it does not go public and raise the suspicions he has raised so far. What do you make of this response coming from chairman that because you went public, it becomes difficult to use the committee platform the way we usually use it?
Yeah, that in fact, I think that it ties into what the 2 points that are made. The over dramatization of this in the media, particularly an issue that is as sensitive as this. One of the lawyers yesterday said, I was in a program with one of the lawyers of the MPP, and he said, most of the time, in most countries, when people are being investigated, you will not even know that they are being investigated. In the same way, I believe that if we had intel, particularly, at the very high level of a parliamentary committee, this could have been handled in a way, honestly, that was not aimed at scoring any political points. Because if indeed, truly, is the interest of the nation that's at heart, and not trying to name and shame one party or another, indeed, it could have been handled differently. And maybe I cannot disagree too much with the chair when he says, once you mediatize the issue, then it disables the committee. But it didn't stop there. The media issue kept, on and on and on, to the extent that we got to where we are now.
So you feel that at some point, even though you had already gone public, if the two sides had worked together, they would have ended the matter in the media and perhaps done what was necessary to find some solution to it?
Yes, indeed. That's my strong belief. That's my strong belief. And you see, the sad thing is that in this country, we have the tendency for the two parties to try to make political gain out of almost every issue. I think it's about time that they stopped this thing. This is a message to both parties. They should work for country and, stop all these. We have young children who are watching these things. They're asking questions, what's going on in our parliament? Why are our parliamentarians, always in the news for sometimes all the wrong reasons? If I believe they can get together and look at certain issues as national issues that should be devoid of any political drama, I think we will make progress as a country, and then we will avoid all this unnecessary kind of attention that, because look, yesterday the almost entire minority caucus was in the house of this MP. We have very serious issues in this country, and attention is being diverted from the issues that the parliament has to deal with.